sometimes it's good to just make a decision. Why? Because at least if you make a decision, you know sooner whether that thing is going to work or not. And if it didn't work, you get the feedback sooner and you can go back and change it, right? You can choose differently. At least you've saved some time, probably a lot of time. All of that time you'd be sitting there thinking about it, going, well, should I go this way? Should I go that way? Should I go this way? Should I go that way? And in that time, you can just be like, you know what? Let me just go this way. Let me just make this decision. It's not going to be that a big difference anyway. And then when you make the decision, you go, actually, this isn't the right choice for me right now. Okay, cool. I'll go that way instead. So the sooner you make decision, the sooner you're going to get some feedback. And life's always giving feedback. But there's certain decisions that you know is pretty safe. Like when you invest in yourself, when you work on yourself, right? And you know that working on yourself, you know that healing your past, you know that, making your body healthy, giving yourself healthy choices is going to be good. These are decisions that you don't really need to think about too much, right? So a lot of times we already have a certain intuition, like a gut feel or a heart feel, you could say. And do you ignore the gut feel and the heart feel for the voice in the head? And a lot of times the voice in the head is the voice of fear. And in each moment, we are choosing, right? The decision, the choice that we are making is either coming from love or it could come from fear. Each moment, we have that choice. And there's no judgment. You can choose either one. They're just going to give you different results. And maybe you've played out all those choices and many choices from fear before. And you know the kind of results that fear gives you, right? The voice of doubt. Sometimes we say, we call it the voice of reason. Or let me just be realistic. Maybe it's sometimes time to stop being realistic, because the reality that you live in is a reality that you actually want to change. Because a lot of people live in a kind of reality that is kind of like a nightmare, that is a sum total effect of the choices that they've made up to that point. I'm not judging you or the life that you have, right? We all have probably in some time in our life have ended up in different times and places and situations. And we think, how do I end up here? What I know is that we can always choose differently. And in every single moment, there's many different choices that we have. We're not stuck, is another way of saying it. Right? We can always choose differently. But a lot of times we make excuses for ourselves on why we don't choose a certain thing. Oh, it's too hard. Oh, I'm too old. Oh, I'm too young. Oh, I'm too this. Oh, I'm not enough of that. Oh, I can't because of this thing. Oh, it's because of that thing. And it's mostly something to do external to us most of the time. And the external doesn't impact you as much as what the internal does. Right? So you can always override that by making a certain choice, a loving choice for yourself. A choice, said differently, is a decision. So what decisions we make shape our destiny, where we end up. Now, let's go to the next one, please. And this is the stuff that kills dreams. So essentially in these 3 days, right, what we're doing is I'm giving you a glimpse of our awaken journey, right? In awaken, we spent 3 full days working on this stuff. And what is awaken? Awaken is about, on day 1, we start mapping out. You can get rid of the slide now. Thank you. Day 1, we start mapping out where are you now? And where do you want to get to? And why do you want to get there? And what is the journey between where you are now and where you want to get to? And what is the work that needs to be done so you can get there. In other words, in Awaken, we create a map, a blueprint, right? And it's these exercises that we do. Day 1, feel. Day 2, heal. Day 3, manifest. And all the exercises that we do in all the sessions. That's why it's 3 full days. It's not just to waste your time for 3 days. They're very consciously put together. So you also end up with a map, with a blueprint. And in Awaken, you shift a lot of stuff. You clear out a lot of stuff that's in the way. But also you start, you leave with this map. So you can continue the work, right? So even if you don't continue anymore of the programs that we do and you go and want to do it on your own, you have a map that you can work on, a blueprint, some steps. And actually we leave the third day with a roadmap, right? Like a 90-day plan past that. So Awaken is about this, and the thing with dreams, this question of what is this life that you'd like to create for yourself? I call it, your awakened life. I actually added another word. I said your epic awakened life. You can change that word to another word if you prefer another word. Maybe it's a miraculous life, a magical life. Life of a different level, a different frequency. And it's absolutely possible. And it kind of ties into, the manifest work that we're going to talk about today. So the thing that gets in the way, and that's in the next slide, actually. Go to the next slide, please. Are the obstacles. The obstacles that we place upon ourselves. Because one of the things I've discovered is the biggest obstacle to my dreams, to the things that I want, the life that I want, is myself. Now, I'm not saying it as a judgment. If you start to look deeper, it'll give you more insight. As a matter of fact, if you guys are up for it, let's do a bonus exercise. Would you like that? We can do a quick little exercise, gives you a bit more insight into obstacles, the things that's blocking you. Now, it's pretty simple, really. Take a moment, right? You can go pen to paper, or you can start to just type it in the chat. How do you probably already know this, just by the moment you start to pay attention to it, it'll already come to you. How do you block yourself? In other words, what are some of the excuses that your mind makes up when you are starting something like a new journey for yourself? Like, Awaken is a new journey. Yeah, for some of you, it's a new journey. But for some of you, it's like, a new relationship, a new job, or maybe you're starting to get healthy. You're starting to rebuild your relationship with yourself. Right? So when you're starting something new, okay, Angela, yeah, that's a good one, right? I'm too old. I'll tell you something about old. Old is a concept in the mind, right? Because the body, on a physical level, on an anatomical level, on a biological level, muscles, what do they want to do? They want to stretch and strengthen. They want to move. Yes, we tend to want to move a little bit slower maybe, but our body still wants to move. Age is a choice that we make by lack of movement. Age is represented in the body by a lack of movement, in my opinion, from my experience of working with literally tens of thousands of people actually on yoga mats. In my opinion, from my experience of working with people on the level of body, age to me is a representation of a choice of not wanting to move, a lack of movement, of choosing lack of movement. I hope you enjoyed that. Remember to leave me a comment below or any questions you may have about the topic covered. And if you haven't done so yet, hit subscribe and the bell icon so you'll be the first to know when I upload my next video. Also, if you know someone who may benefit from this video, please hit share and share it with them. Lastly, I commend you for your commitment to growth and personal transformation. Here's to your epic awakened life. See you in my next video.